Welcome to the Real Estate Majlis podcast, where we dive into the latest real estate insights and trends. Whether you are a seasoned investor or a first-time buyer, our podcast is here to provide valuable information and expert advice. This episode is powered by Bayut, the UAE's leading property platform and proud member of the Dubizo Group. Whether you're buying, selling, or renting, Bayut connects you with real estate solutions tailored to your needs using innovative tools like TrueCheck, TrueEstimate, TrueBroker, and Bayut GPT. From finding your next home to advertising your listings with confidence, Bayut offers real photos, real prices, and real properties, helping you make informed decisions in the market. Welcome, everyone. We are here again, united at the new episode of the Real Estate Majlis podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Mahmoud Al-Burai, and we have a special guest, Mr. Calum White, CEO of White & Co.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Really excited.
Welcome.
Thank you, Calum, for coming. And we would like to recognize also our main sponsor for today, Bayut.
Yes.
Thanks a lot for sponsoring today's episode.
Yeah, Bayut couldn't do it without you guys.
Yes, thank you. So, Calum, let's talk a little bit about the state of the market, right? We bring a lot of leaders from the real estate industry. We always like to set the pace of the podcast to understand where we are right now. We're just turning the end of the year and starting now 2025. What's the outlook for 25 from your point of view?
I mean, following on from the trends of last year, we're excited because when I was a broker, put it back to 2015, we had to talk people into buying properties. Now they will buy properties, it just depends on who with. Mm-hmm. And this is where we're really going to see the higher skilled, higher quality, better valued brokers in the market going to get those buyers, and it's going to make life easier for everyone. And as the regulations continue tightening up, as there's more maturity in the market, it's just a really good time to be a real estate broker. It's a really good time to live in Dubai, and as an economy, it's just really, I think it's very positive. That's what I can see.
What do you see in terms of trends? What are the trends in the market? Who's investing? What are the investment behavior trends? And how sustainable are they?
With the investors coming into the market, I find a lot more people now are trusting off-plan developments. It used to be something that, as we know, Dubai didn't have the best reputation with developers, but now with the tightening again of regulations, with escrow accounts, and making sure everything is run directly through the land department before they even open anything, it means that people trust it, and that's where you're getting a lot of investors who are entering the market, and then they either get a property at a very good price to live in as an end user, or as an investor you're flipping that, or even waiting until it's completed renovating and getting an even larger premium. The main investors we're seeing in White & Co, and I believe the sentiment's shared across the market, it's right now British, Indian, Pakistani, and a lot of Chinese investors as well we're seeing in the market.
In terms of product, what are they buying?
Anything with a good payment plan.
But they're quite aggressive right now. People have to put a lot of down payment before handover.
Well, it depends, because the thing is, there are developers who don't need that extended payment plan. They know their products are going to sell either way.
Right.
The things that you see in the media with saying that this developer sold out all their units in 24 hours, it's true.
Correct.
We've got brokers down there waiting on them to get tickets or whatever it might be, and these are selling. So some developers, they say, we don't need to stretch ourselves, we're going to sell anyway. But then again, you have other developers who are entering the market who instead are saying, we've not got the track record that some of these larger companies, they don't have that track record. So what they are doing is they are making it easier for buyers to enter. They are making it 30% down, 70% on handover. And then what you're able to do is on handover, you bring in the bank and you're able to finance it, which again means that you're not paying, it's not so cash heavy, which we're finding we get a lot of success with that, because it's a lot easier to manage for buyers. It's a bigger buyer pool for people paying that sort of payment plan.
There is also concern from a developer point of view on the cost of sustaining a good payment plan. There is a very heavy cost on the developer to sustain that, because it means now that he needs to upfront a lot of the cost of construction. So we need to make sure that they are cash rich to do that in order to maintain, because typically it's quite heavy on the developer to do that.
Yeah. I'll be honest here, we would never push a developer who has had one project and this is their payment plan. Yeah. This is someone that we would be looking at that has a proven track record, and maybe they are very cash heavy in the aspect that they can fund their own projects.
Yes.
So a very good example of this is, we sell a lot of developments in JVC, and a lot of those do have that because the entry point is for first time buyers. It is for first time investors.
Right.
And those guys usually can do that for these buyers.
Right. And we are suffering from an affordability perspective because the price per square foot has gone up over the last few years. Now, I suppose what developers are doing is making the units smaller, which is also having an impact on people's living.
With remote working, with things like that, and people being able to, work from home or freelance visas and so on, people want bigger spaces. So this is something that developers need to be careful of, because if they're making everything smaller, we're going to lose one of the big things when I go back to my home country in the UK or in Scotland. The houses we have are really small.
Yes.
And then you come to Dubai and you go, wait, this is a 1 bedroom. It's 1,300 square feet.
Right.
And in Scotland, we have 2 bedrooms that are 800 square feet.
Right.
That's a studio sometimes. But we just need to be mindful to make sure that we're not constantly squeezing, because one thing you said there is, the prices are changing, our price per square foot is increasing, but we're still very competitively priced compared to most major markets.
Indeed.
We're a quarter of the price compared to most major markets. London, New York, even places like Mumbai, we're very undervalued in that comparison. So I don't think we have anything to worry about a bubble anytime soon, but what I would say is naturally supply versus demand. More people are moving to Dubai, more people want prime units and prime properties. So obviously it's going to create demand. I think it will increase, but I don't think we have anything to worry about.
Calum, there's so many players in the market, so many developers. And since you talked about the off-plan and how attractive it is for especially a lot of international investors, what's your advice for such international investors? How do you make sure that those guys are protected when they buy?
Well, this is again coming back very importantly for any of the listeners that don't understand the escrow account. So it's a very normal thing in other countries, but essentially when a developer opens up a project, as you guys all know, but to make sure that people understand, they have to lodge essentially a bank account with the DLD. And then what happens is any property purchase price or any money that's going into that developer has to go into this escrow account, and it's then drip fed to the developers based on completion, which is, so example, a valuer will go out, look at the building, go, okay, we're about 35% complete, let's release a little bit more money. And what that allows us to do is to protect those buyers' money, and that's whether you're international or not. That's one side, which is the money side. The other side is just making sure that you're getting a good product. So on the other side, you have to do your due diligence. It's always going to be hard for a developer entering the market if they've not got a proven track record. They're always going to struggle, it's going to be tough, but if you can build that first property or that first development with quality, if you can get that sold and move on to the second, the third, we go and show someone, their old development to say this is the products that they've had. So it's, it is that track record, and once you've got the track record, the confidence and the knowledge, then you should be able to sell it.
You mentioned the escrow, which is great, but also you said investors have to take extra steps, also making sure it's the right developer. In terms of recent government laws and regulations, what kind of regulations do you think having a big impact on the market and driving it forward?
Well, after COVID, something that I think was very important, this comes down to two things. First of all, just as far as the government goes, with COVID, we dealt with COVID very well. And I feel like that showed the rest of the world, really, that Dubai isn't here to mess around. We had COVID over and done with, compared to other major places, in a very, very quick amount of time. Which I think was really impressive. But then on top of that, you had the golden visas, so an investor visa, which if you invest a certain amount of money into a property, you then receive a golden visa from Dubai, which is a 5-year or 10-year visa. And then on top of that, you've got more freehold properties being built than ever before. The loan to value rate in Dubai, it's also from the time of where it was, it's also been increased, so it's now 80% LTV. There's been a lot of catalysts that the Dubai market have said, we want people to come here, we want people to invest, we want people to move. Even with tenancies, it's also made it more transparent for tenants, for landlords, for buyers, for sellers. Everyone's winning at the moment.
Just from your point of view, what are the 3 top areas that you think will continue to show growth in terms of transactions, in terms of people buying off plan? Do you have any preferences there?
Preferences versus data.
Yes.
Obviously, everyone's got their preferences,
Sure.
but the data suggests that Damac Lagoons is an unbelievably well-selling product, but at the same time, the price per square foot, the size, it's going to follow a trend down that corridor, that Al Qudra corridor where these guys are situated. There's a lot of good properties. So Damac Lagoons is definitely one. I'm very excited to continue seeing how Dubai Creek Harbour does, because the infrastructure is now coming down there, and we're seeing a lot of sales in that area, and it's something a lot of brokers should be looking at.
Sure.
Because everyone, we forget a bit about Dubai Creek Harbour, and with all the roads now finished, with the buildings all handing over, it's a really stunning area. And then, other than that, I would look at, for more affordable, I think, sorry to say, but I think JVC is
still going
definitely
strong,
something that, like, I definitely think that JVC, we see people buying, and it's all fun when we're in Dubai and we talk about the millions and millions of dirham, but someone buys a studio in there for 800,000, they wait till it hands over, they sell it for 1.1, 1.2. That's a 50% profit or premium, and we're only talking about waiting for 2 years. If you put money into your bank and they told you we're going to get 50% premium in 2 years, you would snap their hand off. But we don't think about it like that. So I think those three areas are really, really great. There's obviously, Palm's always going to hold its value on there, and right now branded residences, wherever they may be, are really holding their value. But as far as three areas, Damac Lagoons, JVC, and Dubai Creek Harbour are quite exciting, I think.
And it's interesting because it came to my mind now. I've been seeing on Reels, on Instagram, quite a lot of people talking about, oh, you shouldn't buy real estate. There's no value in real estate. You can't make any money out of real estate. I'm like,
and go buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, baby, come to Dubai. Because as you said, some people over the last 3 years, they made significant amount of money, even more than Bitcoin in terms of premiums. I've witnessed not just Dubai, Abu Dhabi as well, transactions that we talk about 100, 200% premium in some cases.
I was looking at some numbers, looking at overall performance of Dubai real estate market. And you know what? Everyone who invested in Dubai real estate freehold market since its inception in 2000 till today did not lose money if they sold in the right time.
Right.
Because the prices, even in 2008, which was the highest, is still 2008 lower than the prices now. So whoever bought in the past and hold on and get almost an average of 8% rental yield on average in Dubai area had made money. So I think the game on real estate is about not following the crowd. A lot of people buy when everyone buy and sell when everyone sells.
Yes, of course,
which should be the opposite, right?
Of course it should. You buy low, you sell high. But instead what we do is we look at, naturally as humans, we want to do what everyone else does.
Yes, of course.
So what we feel comfortable with, oh, they bought that, so I'll buy that. What they should be doing is, right, when no one's buying that, let me look at it. And then, do your due diligence. If you believe in this market, anyone who believed in this market, example, during COVID or during 2008, when you knew it was going to bounce back, you made a lot of money. And if you didn't, you didn't. Don't get me wrong. It's all fine for me to say it, but many people will have bought. We see title deeds every single day coming through the office. You bought this in 2008, great. Like, you've made a lot of money versus people who might have sold it and lost a lot. So I think holding it in this market as well. If there ever was something that went wrong, I don't think we have to worry about that for any time soon.
And especially nowadays, if you agree with me, rentals have really skyrocketed. So you as a resident have an option of renting or buying, and it makes more sense nowadays to buy, right?
Yeah, with the current interest rates, absolutely.
Yeah. It does make way more sense, and we see, like you said, the rents are skyrocketing. Obviously, we're protected by the rental index calculator, which, just so anyone doesn't understand, if you rented a property for what would now be considered under market value, the rental index calculator, what that allows you to do is put in your location, what rent you pay, and then it'll tell you the maximum that your landlord can increase you by. So the maximum it can never be is 20%. If it has to be anything other than that, they can go down a route of getting a specific valuation and trying to go down a different way. But majority of people are very nice landlords here, and they just, they take their 20%, they take their 10, 15, 5. But again, coming back to that, you should be trying to buy, but with the rents being so high, it does eat into those deposits. So it's a tough one, because if you want to buy where you live, you will be paying a lot of money, I assume, in rent, and it does. You need to be earning some good cash to then put that down payment.
We talk about regulations that are working in favor of the market. What would you like to see?
One of the biggest problems there is in the market, you can have exclusivity and literally cancel it tomorrow.
So that's actually the point I was going to make. So it's not necessarily, yes, you can talk to people about your property, but it's the enforcement of the contract that was signed. Whether it was 3 brokers or 1 brokers, and that's, I think, where the gap is.
Even at our exclusivity, so we have a broker example last week situation, we've got someone that wants to come on board with us, we're going to go exclusive with them. This means that the company is going to invest even more money, because we're essentially not guaranteed, but we're going to invest more because they're investing in us. If you're going to agree to go exclusive with us, then we're going to invest more in your market, and we're going to invest more in where we put this property. And then to know that exclusivity agreement can just be cancelled like that, there's no safety on the businesses, and there's no safety on the brokers who, even more important, these guys work for commission only, or majority of them do. So for them just to have, a big agreement put together, put all this work into it, and then next thing you know, it's gone.
So it's a handshake, effectively, and you have to rely on the moral ethics of the
and
sellers.
And as we know over here,
on legal, because, there are standard forms, as Form A, Form B, and Form F.
Yep.
So even in form, if you want to go exclusive, it's fine. You want to go with the 3, it's fine. So it's a free market. If you want to go exclusive and the seller change his mind later, you can always add a clause in your Form A that, I mean, it's up to the guy. He wants to change. Maybe he found someone else, but at least your cost is given back to you in a way. So if you mention that in the contract, it works. I've seen a lot of contracts where they say if you cancel, then this is the
the marketing cost. There'll be
it works if we want
fee.
to take them to court and have to go down that route of then my company lawyer then has to go to court to then recoup. It might only be 10,000 dirham. It might be 100,000 dirham. But again, it's having to go down that route. Whereas, and we know the market that we're in, and at the end of the day, I won't shy away from saying that some people might handshake and it means bond. You know, I will never break this agreement. Some people in Dubai, handshake means nothing, and it's business is business. So you know, we need to be honest about that, because this is what we see, and this is what, more importantly, our brokers deal with every day.
But in the UK or America, do you think it's different?
I think it's different, but I think also the UK and American market, when it comes to selling property, is wrong, because they also have something in there which is so example, a company that in the UK, they would sign you up, you pay 1.75% if we sell it, but if we don't sell it, you pay us 0.75%.
Right.
You shouldn't be paid anything if you don't sell a property, but you should be covered for maybe marketing, because there's going to be a big difference between 0.75 and then, you know, maybe £1,000 or whatever it might be.
Now, but one thing that I suppose the consumer also needs to understand, that the value and exclusivity has a direct value on the price they're going to get. And I think where people undermine this part, because obviously sometimes the brokers are in the business to stop other brokers doing the deal rather than anything else. But if the consumers understand that if they find the right company with the right ethos, with the right approach, that it is very likely statistically that you're going to have a better deal and protect that listing value better than just put with everyone else in the market. Because when you put the property with everyone else in the market, you're going to drive the value down. That's factual.
It's a tough one, and it'll take time to fix, but it's something that we need to continue pushing. And the good businesses with good ethos and good morals and so on, we need to explain. At the same time, we need to show our value. Because there's two sides to it. We can sit here and go, but owners should understand, but we also as a business need to sit here and go, but we need to bring value.
There's no other way. Otherwise, why are they using the broker anyway?
Someone just wants exclusivity and just wants to put it online. That's not bringing any value.
No, absolutely not.
In terms of luxury and affordable, how do you see the market? More luxury, more affordable? Where's the demand? Where's the supply?
Everything's getting more expensive. So to say that it's never getting more affordable right now. But as far as having properties that are at the lower end ticket price, so more affordable, there's still plenty of them being built. There's still plenty of them being handed over. I don't think we're having any problems with people not being entered the market because they have nothing they can afford. I don't believe that. And then on the other side, luxury properties or branded residences, or, you know, the expensive stuff. I mean, more properties in Dubai sold over $10 million last year, than in New York, than in London, than in San Francisco, than in Miami.
According to Knight Frank.
According to Knight Frank, according to the guys who do these sort of studies. And at the end of the day, it just shows the sentiment in the market, it shows the trust in the market. And, you know, you can't argue with these stats, because these guys, they could put their money anywhere. Why are they choosing Dubai? Because it's safe, because it's the tax here, because, you know, it's so accessible, because of the lifestyle that people have over here. There's so many reasons, because it's the central hub of the Middle East for finance, for fashion, for traveling, for whatever you want.
We see a lot of residents here in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi and other Emirates have chosen to continue to be a tenant rather than residents, whereas a lot of buyers are international who are non-residents. So how do you think developers should work? What kind of product to make such residents going from tenants to investors or to end users?
It's a very easy product to do as far as me saying it, but it would be tough for the developer to do. Again, it comes back to this option of payment plans. But what we have, or in Scotland where I'm from, we have something called rent to own. So essentially you pay rent, and then what that eventually equates to is your deposit. And then once your deposit is equated, then you just bring the bank in for the rest of it. So example, say you need 1 million for your deposit. You could pay 5 years of 200k of rent to the developer, and then that becomes your deposit. It's something that's very simple. It's something that, you know, but it's all easy for me to say in Scotland when they hand over 14 houses per development. Different over here when you hand over 1,400.
Yeah.
So, I understand the challenges and troubles, but that is something they can look at. Or even, it depends, the developer would need to be very cash heavy to allow these things, because all you're doing is making it easier on the tenant. And that means that it has to be harder on the developer.
Yeah.
It can't work both ways.
Yeah.
If the government was to subsidise anything, if there was some sort of catalyst, that would work. But again,
could be, as you said, could be policies that is, and you see that a lot of, especially in the UK, right? When they give you planning permission, they ask for a percentage in some of the projects to be affordable or with specific items that would allow people that couldn't afford to be part of the scheme, right? So
exactly.
you could assign, and that a certain number of units to be, let's say, compromised from the bigger picture to particular groups of people who could benefit from that scheme. So that's absolutely a good point. Commercial real estate. We talk a lot about resi here, but what's situation commercial? Because
it's exciting.
It went full circle, right? There was a moment where probably there was quite a lot available. Now I assume there's nothing available, and there's not a lot of new launches with commercial real estate at all, right?
There's not.
Yeah.
It's something developers need to be wary of, is making sure that they keep bringing stuff, because it helps the economy.
Yeah.
It helps create more jobs. It helps bring more people here. As far as commercial goes, there's more and more businesses moving to Dubai every day. There's far more businesses moving here than moving away. And I think that as we see more of the headquarters of these massive companies moving to the UAE, I mean, we just seen the other day BlackRock are moving their headquarters
Yep.
to or opening in Abu Dhabi.
Correct.
That shows a huge level of confidence in the market. Never mind talking to me, if BlackRock are moving here, something's going right. And then on top of that, commercial grade space, whenever something is coming available, it is getting sold or it is getting rented. The landlords of these developments, of these commercial units, they are receiving fantastic yields. They're getting long-term tenants. I don't think we've done a tenancy contract in our business with our commercial team that hasn't been 5 years or longer. So then you've also got to think about new businesses entering the market.
Yes.
If almost everyone's taken tenancies for 5 years or longer, it's going to be tough for people to enter the market and get that space.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. And anyone I know who's in commercial right now, they're doing pretty well. It's as soon as you have stock, it will sell or rent. And then these people who own, and then your landlord or seller, he turns around and says, buyer, he said, I want to buy more. We just had someone in the tower where our office is. They've just bought 50,000 square feet of space, and they just want to buy the whole tower, which is obviously very impressive.
Because obviously with the influx of people, obviously they also need to work. But do you think, though, with now these hybrid models of people working half time at home, do you think this is kind of people shying away from expanding to offices, or you think now people are getting back to work in the office? There's quite a lot of conversations on this topic right now, right?
My honest answer
Yeah.
is, first of all, I don't like hybrid working. I like culture. I like being in an office where I'm around winners.
Me too.
I like seeing people do well. I like knowing who the top guys are and being able to emulate that. If I'm a new broker into the market, or any business there is, and I can't see what the top guy is doing, how am I going to become as good as them?
Yeah.
So that's one part of it. I do think that if you one good thing about Dubai is we're not I'm sorry, they use this term in the UK and other places, but snowflakes. A lot of the people here are tough, and I don't know why that is. I think you've got to look at every person that's moved to Dubai who wasn't born here or grew up here. We're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
You've moved here to make a better life for yourself, and Dubai is not easy.
No.
So I think that over here it has its place. I think most of the people that are here that have nomad jobs or have jobs where they can work from home or hybrid, they probably have an office in the UK or an office in America where really they're getting told, over in Dubai you need to do the same as here. But I feel like first of all, for real estate, it's not a model that I would ever incorporate. It's not something I believe in. I still think there's times for having perks and maybe you get a day off here and there, whatever it might be. But I don't believe that good businesses should be working that way. There's people that I've seen something the other day. There's like programmers that just do 3 touches of a button and then that's them paid for the week and then just go back to sitting around all day. So I don't have all the answers, but that's my opinion on it.
Right. I want to go back to the value conversation and bring it back the things we wish we could change or improve in terms of regulations. I think the hottest topic right now with the amount of launches is the kickbacks, right? So you have a lot of brokers getting appointments for customers, and I see that from my point of view as well. You have the same buyer registered with 10 different brokers, and the one that is giving the commission to the developer now is paying the broker. It goes back to the customer, and it's becoming a very complex situation that we feel that some level of regulation needs to go against it. What's your view, Calum?
We call it in our office the race to the bottom. I'll do it for this amount. No, I'll do it for less. No, I'll do it for less. I'll do it for less. That's one side of it from the business.
Yeah.
Then you've got the really sad part, which is the broker who, what are they meant to do? You know what I mean? They're just getting someone else pushing their fee down and pushing their fee down. And sometimes what happens, for anyone that doesn't understand, is, someone might have launched an amazing product and, one of our White & Co agents go and try and sell it. So we've done all the pitching, we've sold everything, we've told them all about it. That person didn't even know about this product until we informed them. And then they've got friend B who works at another company. And friend comes along and says, oh, I can get you that. I'll just give you the commission back on it if you buy it through me. And then what happens is then they come back to our agent and say, oh, well, my friend's going to do it for 1%. And then what's our agent meant to do? They've got food they need to get.
Yeah.
They've got a car they need to pay for. They've got a house they need to pay for. I never want to see anyone in this market be in that position. But until it's regulated better, there's nothing that anyone can do. And I believe that there's one thing that's solid on this. I don't believe good agents do it.
Yeah, no,
I believe good agents turn around and say, okay, go
sorry.
with them then, no problem. But there are so many bad agents that, they'll just float by getting a little bit of commission here and there, just siphoning off deals.
Yeah.
The only way to do it is if a broker start holding their ground and going, I know what value I provide, I'm not going to cut my fee. But for me to say that, how many real estate brokers are in Dubai right now, that's ones that are registered, okay? Let's say 20,000, okay? Not all 20,000 are going to turn around and go, I know my worth. Some of them are struggling, some of them are desperate, some of them should never be in real estate. Some of them are not good enough, whatever it might be, whatever might be the excuse. So I don't know how it gets regulated, but until everyone turns around and starts going, I know my worth, I'm not cutting my commission, I'm not doing, because even agreements with businesses, this doesn't happen at White & Co, but I know that if a buyer buys and they get the company to sign to say they're going to give money back to this person, that can be taken to court. So you got to think, like, they can go to court to say this company's not giving me money on a fee they should never have had any on. It's a very tough one. It's very tough, and I don't have all the answers on that one, obviously. But I see it happen in the market. I see people lose life-changing deals because of it.
Yeah.
I see people coming in the office going, Calum, we're about to close this, blah blah blah, and then 2 days later they're sitting there going, I can't believe that happened, just because someone came along and swiped it from under them. And
I think it takes also more of a stakeholder approach. Developers should be really
accountable as well.
Accountable. The regulator should work with all of them. And also should have a reporting mechanism where even investors should report such behaviors, because it will impact everyone.
I think the developers should be fully accountable, because you are in a position where, if something comes to your attention officially by broker A, with proof that this is the case, why would the developer pay broker B, right? If introduction was done and he's actually in breach of his contract with the developer, because most of the contracts will say, you cannot offer customers discounts, you cannot offer customers anything. It's on the contract.
And it's unethical and illegal according to Bylaw 85 of 2006.
Exactly.
Because it mentions it clearly that brokers should get a commission, a percentage, and there shouldn't be any behavior that takes deals from other brokers. So it's mentioned there in the law. If there is a piece of advice you have for our investors and even tenants, what will be that advice?
I've seen it happen over and over again, and if you're an investor, then your whole goal is to make money. Let's be honest there, that's what it's there for. Get in on developments as quick as possible, make sure that you're buying from reputable developers, and trust the market. So far, trust the market, like you've just said, is if you bought a property and you held it up until now, no matter what, you would have made money. I think we're past the time now of people being too worried about Dubai. I think if you haven't got on the train of believing that Dubai is the place where you need to invest or the place where you need to move to or whatever it might be, then you never will. Because I can't understand it. I'm the biggest advocate for Dubai. I love this place. I will never leave. But I think that if you're an investor, don't miss the boat. Because right now, like I said, we're 25% compared to other places at 100%. We're a quarter of the price per square foot still. That's for investors. And as for tenants, get on the property ladder as soon as possible. Because first of all, this goes for anywhere you live. You don't want to be paying someone else's mortgage for your entire life. At the same time, you know, there are affordable products out there. Get yourself into somewhere on the property ladder. And even with what we see happening in other major cities in the world, capital gains tax, the changes in taxes, income, inheritance, whatever else it might be, Dubai, we don't have any of that stuff. We don't have those problems just now. Don't get me wrong, they might come in 30 years, 40 years, but I don't see that coming anytime soon. It would be counterproductive to what the economy are trying to achieve.
I just want to add the one you said about the investor part, because I think this is actually a situation where a lot of investors, they put themselves in, and make sure you are ready to pay all the installments. Because a lot of the customers, they will buy a property with 10% and they do not have the balance. And with the view of a broker who hyped him to get into the unit because he's going to make so much money. And I think number one rule in real estate is make sure that you take a long-term view, regardless. Even if you are going to make money the next day, but take a long-term view, because then it becomes you should be accountable for your decisions as well, right?
Yes, definitely.
Calum, it was great to have you here with us.
Thank you
Mahmoud,
so much.
what a great
Thank you so much
episode.
for the opportunity.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.